Okay, this is a meeting of the Municipal Scholarship Committee. It is Thursday, June 5th, 2025.
Okay, so I'll read the minutes from the last meeting, which was Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 7 p.m. via Zoom. So we did our approval of past minutes there from the April 29th meeting. Applicants will be notified during the SBS Scholarship Award ceremony at 7 p.m. on May 29th, and Eric will follow up with an email the week after as well. Cindy designed a certificate. They will be presented during the ceremony. It includes the mayor's signature. Total in the fund now is $89,573.61, including a $5,000 recent donation from one individual. And then we had 13,500 committed to awards this year, leaving a balance of $76,073.61 remaining, carrying into next year. Our next meeting is today, June 5th. And the agenda for today is review of questions and rubric for improvements, establish the timeline for next year, identify dates for September, December meetings in advance. Do we approve the minutes?
Approved.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Sorry about that. I joined from the phone thing and it just did not work. So I had to re-download the app. And so now I'm here. Sorry.
That's all right. Welcome.
Good to be back.
Are you back in Somerville, Matt? Or are you still cross
Oh,
country?
I am headed towards Spokane, Washington right now.
Nice.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
It looks like I'm on twice, so maybe that's Eric. Okay, so
Yep.
all
Okay,
members of the committee are now present. And yeah, so Cindy, thank you for doing the award document. And we had the high school print shop print them up. We ordered some fancy folders, presentation folders, like so the awards were put into there. And the mayor's office is planning on hosting a luncheon. And the next step, I don't know what happened with the award ceremony. I think it's already happened. I'm not sure. Maybe Melanie can chime in on how that went. But this office will be looking for schools listing, student ID number, and
Yeah.
so Eric is saying it happened and it went
Yeah.
great. So that's perfect. Great news. So we're looking for we need what is it, W-9s? Because we have to set up any school that isn't already a city vendor. We have to create a vendor
Yeah.
number for them, and we need the tax document in order to do that. And then ideally we want the student ID number of the student so that when we deal with the bursar's office,
Yeah.
we don't have any
So,
problem. All right.
so Linda, what do you know what the plan is? Because the students are asking how they're gonna, like, is someone gonna be emailing them and reaching out to them?
Eric,
Okay, Eric, you're gonna be.
Eric
Okay.
handled that in the past.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. They're eager to
so-
hear because they're confused about, so because like they get all the other instructions, so they would, I think they'll appreciate an email.
Okay.
Especially if they're expected to come to the lunch, just because they all are like launching into full-time summer work. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And Linda,
Yeah.
I don't know if you, oh, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, just on the same subject quickly, Cindy. I just wanted to say, yeah, I'm gonna send the email out with all those details, Linda, kind of collating that and again organizing it for you. I think just the other piece that I want to look into is just how do we get the money possibly because we know what happens with these scholarships, right? We've talked about this before that at times some institutions take out their aid by using the scholarships. I want to see if we can figure out a way to get these to the student account of the student to see if they could use the money, but I've tried looking around for this before, but if I hit a dead end, we'll go with our same process. But I'll do my best to sort of identify a path forward. But again, yeah, that should be all the steps needed. The student should only be submitting additional information. And then just on this subject, Linda, did you have a date for the luncheon? Sorry.
I don't. The mayor's office had penciled in a date. And
Okay.
I can look for that and I can email any updates because they penciled it in. They didn't give
It
me a
was,
definite.
it was sent to us in an email.
Yeah, so, but I recall them saying, oh, we're gonna pencil this in, and I thought, okay, so let me see if it's definite. Um, luncheon date. And then, regarding how the schools handle the money, I don't know. I mean, we have to send this, we have to send the money to the schools. Um, I suppose I could send a letter along with the check dictating where the funds should go. I don't know if that would hold any weight. I,
So
I,
like, yeah,
I don't know, but
yeah.
I'm open to doing something like that if you think it would be effective or
I
helpful.
I just wish like there was a simpler way for us to kind of like drop the money in their account, but I just think that we have to send it to the school, which means I think it's not, you know, it's a tough workaround. But again, let me look into it. Let me see if I can find anybody. I'll ask a buddy of mine at BU and see if he can dig us up something. But again, yeah, I think sticking to our traditional process is most likely what we're going to end up with.
So we can help with getting the W-9s. I need the school listing. And if it's not a local school, ideally an address so that we know, like if there are multiple schools or whatever, we know which one to go looking for. Because I remember when we were trying to find um one of the colleges, there were like a number of choices. I don't know if it was in New York or something, and we weren't sure which one. You know, it was like, oh, this, well, which one are we asking?
So I
Um,
think,
so
yeah, if I could make a suggestion for
yeah,
next year, I think if we need them to fill out a W-9 or, if we need that information, I think, if that, I think, I know this is the first year we went to the scholarship awards and that was like sort of the first step. And so if we're going to continue that, if those instructions can be given to the students that night, and say, and with an invitation for the luncheon to say, here's the information we need. We need the school, the address, we need your student ID number, and you need to bring it to this luncheon or submit it to us by this
but
date.
but
Like, I
but
think that just makes it a little clearer for them if they get it all at once. So I don't know if we can write that
understood.
down.
But the
Yeah.
local schools already set up. All of the schools around here already have it, so I don't need
Yeah,
it.
I
So I
know, but
just,
it might just
I
be a
need
good
it for
idea to
the,
have them fill it out just for, you know what I mean? So that they're all getting the same information at the same time. And then you get it and you say, oh, it's Salem State. Okay, I don't need to add that information, but I still need their student ID. I still need,
I need their student ID, but I was under the impression that the school had to provide the city with the W-9, not the student. Is that not?
Right. So with the instructions of like, we need your school to provide this to you. Like, I just think if we could give them, if, whatever they need to do on the night of the scholarship, I think that'd be great.
So basically, it sounds like because Eric sends an email out, so Eric's email, the content, just give it to the students on that night.
Are you talking about an awards night or are you talking about the luncheon? I thought
Awards
the
night,
awards already happened. Didn't that already happen?
right, but
My,
I think Melanie is saying for next year during awards.
oh, for next year. Oh, okay, okay, understood. Okay, right. My apologies.
I think with that work, Melanie and Eric. So whatever the email content, Eric, when you notify the recipients, we can just have that printed out and presented along with the scholarship, so the students will know kind of what to do, right, and what to expect.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, I saw those envelopes and I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, well, should have come a little more prepared. So no, totally understand and grateful for it. Again, it was so nice to be part of that night. And I think at the same time,
Yeah.
if we can systematize it right to make sure everyone gets what they need, all good. Sounds good.
No, I think it's awesome, Eric, you were able to go and that we were able to present. Because I know we talked about it last year, but couldn't quite pull it off. So it's great that we were able to do that this year. And we'll just make it better next year.
It was so, honestly, it was so fun to see their faces and to see the joy. We have a picture coming out. I don't know, Melanie, if you got that picture anywhere that I took with all the students. It was one student in particular kept saying, thank you so much for giving me this money.
Aw.
Thank you so much. And I didn't really get if it was his vibe to be so outwardly like in the midst of all of his other classmates, so thankful, but it seemed like it was genuine and I was appreciative. So I shared our collective sense of gratitude around their appeal, from speaking to their Somerville connections, and I actually named that, and they all like gave a an awe. They were like, "Oh, you really read everything." I think it was interesting. I think they thought that we didn't read any of their applications based on their response to, "We loved your writing. It was so fun." So again, very grateful that they're all of the 17, 18-year-olds that they are, and that they're going to get this award. So again, thanks everyone for the work you put in.
Well, now I feel like $1,000,000.
Oh.
Honestly, no, that is exciting. So Linda, is there anything else you need before we move on, I guess, to the retrospective portion of the meeting?
Not anything that I can think of right now. I just wanted to mention that I think the mayor's office has, uh, a document like for releasing for photographs if someone's not under, if someone's not 18 years old. So I just want us to be mindful of that, that if they're not 18 and they can't consent to, I guess, having their image or something. So I know
they
the
fill
mayor's
out
office
a
has some sign off or something.
they fill out a photo release for us.
Great.
So.
They already filled it out for you?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's great news.
And I think it might be a good idea in the future to add it to the application,
Okay,
because then you have it beforehand.
right.
But yeah.
Okay, great.
I also, Linda, last time around, the mayor's assistant actually took a couple signatures down this last time. So
Yeah,
it was it was right
that's
before you got there, actually. Yeah, like right before
Yeah,
you got there and you come
I remember
upstairs.
that. That's why when you said you took some pictures, I was reminded of that upstairs when they were getting signatures. And I said, oh geez, I just don't want us to run afoul of any
No, no worries.
rules or
I hear
whatever laws. Okay.
So are we ready to move on with the
I think so.
retrospective?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just one last thing. Just want to confirm I'm sending that email out to the students tomorrow. They should see it before 6 p.m. That's kind of my timeline right now.
Awesome. So I had I guess I can kick things off if that's okay. Because I'd taken a couple of notes and it was mainly regarding the application process itself. Um, so I don't know if that's where we want to begin or another area, but like for example, one of the things was just the activities and the work experience that it seemed like there was a lot. I don't know what the options are, but it seemed like some students have put in like 6 different activities and 6 different work experiences. So whether or not, we want to combine the activity and work experiences and then cap it at like 5 or something. But I don't know how people feel about that. If we should leave the work experiences and activities separate.
I was feeling, that working, it wasn't that I needed to be a separate or different thing or merged, but that work experience just had a really heavy weighting relative to like the actual, someone working, or I guess the context under which you have that work experience is like really important too. Right. If you're a family with a low income and you're holding down 2 jobs, that should in a certain way kind of almost offset if for someone who has, coming from a very affluent family but has like 8 different clubs, right? So it's like your time is still being used productively for the good of your community, but you're just kind of struggling in a different way. So maybe it is better to just merge them into one thing and just call like post grad or post educational experience like one category in of itself rather than 2 separate things.
Yeah, I think combining them is fine. I personally don't think we should put any caps on it, though. I mean, some of these kids genuinely are out there doing it all, and I think that's cool to see,
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So merging but no cap seems that's Darcy, Eric, how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I like that. I like the no cap only because, and I'm not using it colloquially, like young people do.
No cap.
No cap. Yeah, I think the no cap is still something I want to keep there, only because I feel like uh, there's just the times we see a student who's maybe what we could term as less savvy about a scholarship application, right, is just listing as many things as possible or listing a collection of things. And we can note, right, when someone who's very savvy in this process is doing all that they can to represent their Common App and what they've built. And I think there's just there's nuances there that I can't really like fully represent by trying to talk it through here. I wish we had maybe some examples from the application, and I think maybe that's something we need next time around. That's all to say. I still do think that having no cap on the amount of activity still just allows them to have the creativity or just simply the ability to just fill in as much as they deem is valuable too.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I had one kind of thought as I was going back through and checking the application a couple nights ago. I like the way we've structured our 3 essays. I do think it's probably better to just have 2 maybe essays, right? And you're really focusing either on the Somerville community aspect, right? Because we are a Somerville community scholarship. And like while well, there were some fantastic stories in, what's a hardship you've been through. It's kind of a difficult and loaded question to ask an 18-year-old, because those the bounds for that can be everything from I left my entire home in Haiti and I'm restarting and learning English as a second language to I don't know how to like properly talk to my dad because he's not like emotionally available and like it's been difficult for my entire family. And both are valid, but to create space for both of those things, you can't really hold one candle to the other, it seems like, so it seems fair too. Thoughts?
I like
I
the
guess
idea.
I have, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Melanie.
I have similar, or it's not, yeah, I had a similar thought and I might take it in a slightly different direction. I think what I struggle with this scholarship is I don't know that we have our goals straight.
Mm,
And I think we just ask 7 million different questions.
mhm,
And then it's not clear, is it about how involved you are? Is it about how much need you have? Is it
mhm.
about the adversity you have overcome? And because there on the on the website, there's something about like it's merit based, right? It's not a need based scholarship. And I do recognize that like, you can't always like put them in neat little compartments, right? Like, merit, determining merit, part of that is in understanding what you've overcome in order to accomplish what you've accomplished, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, Julian, sorry, I'm with my kids. And but I do wonder, and my sort of proposal might be, and I echo what Matt was saying, is if this is about the Somerville community, like I almost wonder if we could cut out a lot of what we've put in this application, and it's really about like, tell us what Somerville means to you, like tell us your Somerville story. And a little bit about activities, or maybe the activity, like sure, so we know how they're involved in a community or whatever it is, but I just feel like we ask them a lot of questions, and then I don't know that all of those questions are really essential to figuring out if they should get the scholarship. Like I feel like we're doing it backwards. We need to back up and say, what's the most important thing? And my suggestion might be that it's about the Somerville community.
Mhm.
Or if it's going to be about need, if it's going to be about overcoming things, fine. But like if it's not about financial need, then why are we asking them for their FAFSA, for their parents' income, for their, you
Yep.
know what I mean? And like, you can overcome adversity without having financial need. So maybe that's part of the merit. I don't know. I just wonder if we need to get our priorities straight before, and if we can simplify it to like absolutely only what we need to ask, that would be my suggestion.
I think it's kind of you go ahead, Sydney.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Actually,
Thanks. So I hear what you're saying, and I think my concern with simplifying it too much with even just one essay is then it becomes an essay contest, and not everyone is good at expressing themselves that way. And I've found that like having the kind of 3 questions, like sometimes they really kind of hit it out of the park with one of them, and it really like gives me a bigger picture, like something struck a chord. So I kind of like this. It's almost like sampling, where something like really resonates with them and we get like a really like meaty nugget about their lives, right? So I do worry about having it be too focused on just kind of one thing, and can you tell a good story? Because whether or not you can tell your story well isn't necessarily giving me the information I want. And at least for me, I would strongly advocate that the financial portion stays in. I just think there's so much high need in the community and in the applications that we've seen that I don't want to see that being not considered.
I think that's fine. Like, yeah, I don't disagree. I just think we are not clear on whether that's important or not. Like, I feel
Yep.
like we ask every question like under the sun, and then it's like, are we at like what are we at? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Which,
just
well, no, you're right,
I
Greg,
hear
because
you.
then it's not fair to the kids who don't have need based, right? Who are coming from wealthy parents who are in a lot of certain different ways representative of the Somerville community, right? Who have these huge swaths of community engagement, and they're like, well, what gives, right? And then it's like the real answer is, right, we chose kids this year because they needed it, right? And that's a wonderful thing to say, and it's a wonderful thing I think we did, and we kind of made a group decision on that. But also, like, it's not fair to the kids who are just thinking, well, it's merit, right? And then I don't understand, like, well, merit has certain aspects to it that we're weighting heavier than others. And so I think you're right, Melanie. Like, we have to kind of be more honest and upfront to begin with, and saying, like, look, do we want merit? Do we want merit to be part of this? Yes or no? Do we want community to be the focus of this? Right? Do we want to remove the FAFSA portion? I don't think any of us do. I think we all want to reward those kids who will feel that $1,500 or $2,000 the most. But at the same time, like, I think Melanie's spot on, right? We kind of don't have an idea of really what we want to be as far as a community scholarship fund yet. And by saying, like, you know what, like, there's a lot of different ways to be active in your community, right? There's a way there, like, if you're driving your entire family to immigration appointments and like relatives around and working two jobs to make sure that you like hold down a house, like that's being active in your community still. That's an important aspect that keeps a family together. And so just need to be able to create the understanding or the narrative throughout the application that gives kids the opportunity to say, like, yes, like I may be the community activist or I may be the community rock. And between those two, or another kind of community person that then creates this flow that shows that they've demonstrated their worth to Somerville as a whole by being a part of it.
Yeah, I think so. Just kind of how we've done the scoring system and how we talked about the applications, I think definitely needs based, especially with the X factor scoring and things like that, is one of the big drivers. And Melanie, that website, I think one of the things we were gonna talked about last year was updating it because it does say just merit based. And we talked about having it merit and needs based. So that's the website still needs to be updated. But I think that's a good point, Melanie, because it is a robust application. And I agree with Matt with I think the 3 essays are a little bit much, but maybe 2 instead. And that will give
Exactly.
oh, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry. But that I think still Darcy will give kids an opportunity to really kind of shine if on one of them, they don't write too much, but then they have another opportunity to really, write something that's, really powerful and vulnerable.
yeah, to be clear, I'm not advocating that we don't award based on need. My point is just like
Oh,
the
no, I agree.
eligibility.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
over the
the
place.
eligibility needs to be super transparent, and
Yes.
like we need to be crystal clear on it, and it should be advertised that way. That's my only thing is like,
Yeah.
and I think we need to just like I almost feel like we need to make a list, and maybe this is the first thing we do in September or whatever, if like what everything that we're looking for and then mapping out on the application, because I bet there are some things we ask about 4 different times, 4 different ways, and other things we actually don't even ask about that like maybe are. So that's I just want it to be purposeful. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think also it's not fair to the students who are, super privileged financially if we're wasting their time
Yeah.
filling out this application if they're never going to
Exactly.
get it. So
Exactly. Like
yeah, absolutely.
transparency.
Like the website does need to reflect that. And I think it's a shame that it didn't this year because I thought it did in the past, but maybe that got dropped at some point.
Or and the other thing I'll just say is like I think we have a community of, obviously very diverse community, and a really rich immigrant community. And to have 3 essays may not be doing justice
Done
to our
justice.
ESL students. And I wonder if we could try to get that information maybe based for like short answers. Maybe there's like a series of like 1-word answers we can get, like open-ended 1-word answers they can, or like something. It's very language heavy. And so I think if we're talking about like, if
Yeah.
that wants, just considering that.
Yeah.
No, but Melanie, I think that's a good point, just to take a step back, because it's almost like we're trying to do too much. But for a lot of the, if you think about the winners this year and even last year, the X Factor score was, I mean, they all had the X Factor score. So
Mhm.
everyone that was privileged was like, yeah, you know, why should they submit why should they submit an application? Because they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good point. Do we want it to be merit-based as well, so that GPA is as important, if you will, or community-based? I feel like maybe if we have 2 things, that would be more manageable. Like one's definitely need-based, I think. I think everyone agrees on that. And then what's that second factor? Does GPA matter if community is the second driving factor?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. And I think my other question is like, are we the people that decide that? Like, are there any sort of
Mm.
like bylaws in there about what have to be, or maybe not. I think I remember no, that we decide that.
Decide that, which is
Okay.
the fun
Okay.
thing. Not the easiest thing sometimes.
Yeah, right.
But
I was like,
intentions, and it
it'd be
becomes
easier if they just told us. But then I also wonder, I think, and we struggle with this on the Somerville, on the high school one, but the idea of like merit is so up for interpretation.
yeah.
And I think a student who takes 5 AP classes and gets A pluses and it's like working their butt off, like it's incredibly impressive, regardless of their income, their ability, like all of that. It's really impressive. And it may be the same amount of effort and merit that takes a student to learn English and pass their classes. And so I think like I wonder if there's another way. Like we're thinking about changing our question to like describe your best academic achievement or growth period, or like something where they get to like, where it's not just a number on a page, where it's and maybe it's both, right? So maybe we have the GPA for context, but maybe one of the short answer question, maybe we can transform an essay into sort of like, tell us about your proudest academic moment, so we can get a sense of like, oh, like I gave a presentation in front of my class in all English after only a few months of being in the country, or whatever it is, so that we can allow for more types of like merit, I guess.
Do we ever ask about language specifically? I know people mention it often in their, like, it comes up in the essays sometimes.
It's a
I
good
don't think,
question. I don't think we do.
no, I don't even think we ask if, ESL, if they're in ESL's learner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we probably should. I mean, a lot of times I feel like it's just easy to glean from, their essays, but if they're not talking about it, then we don't know.
And again, is that important to us? And I think
Right.
probably,
Yeah.
right, based on what we're saying. But
I think
again,
it
like,
is, especially just given the demographics in Somerville.
yes,
And
yep.
I think this is a Somerville scholarship. I think that's a huge factor in our community. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
we should. Oh.
yeah. Good. No, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, and I don't think now the call is the right way, but maybe when we do meet in September, we go through each of the questions and just be very intentional about, like Melanie, right? Let's figure out, what the second goal is, right? First one's need-based. What's the second one? If it's merit, how do we define merit, right? If it's community, then that's pretty straightforward. So we define the 2 goals, and then we just go through the questions, and we just be very intentional about the questions we ask the kids. And update the website with whatever we decide.
yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good to me. And
I'm good.
Yeah, the other
Do
thing
we, oh,
we should talk about a little bit is just our scoring system, because this year I think we were not necessarily all on
shower.
the same page about the scoring.
Yeah, I think once we figure out the questions and
Oh, yeah.
the two goals, then Darcy, definitely the next thing is how do we score so that, we're
No, he's out of.
pinpointing
Yeah,
pinpointing
just
the right thing.
need to remember to revisit that.
Yeah.
We have another committee member.
Honorary committee
Yeah.
member.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just
I
gonna
was
say,
just,
go ahead,
you go,
Melanie, go
Cindy.
ahead.
I was actually gonna ask you a question, so you go. Maybe you're gonna answer it.
No, I was just gonna say for timing, right? Are we okay kind of just tabling this to the end of the summer? And then we can have a couple working sessions to really kind of fine tune, right? The application, the questions, and kind of retinker everything a little bit.
Yeah, that seems good to me.
Yeah, I think that sounds fine. I think we should maybe try and get a general timeline kind of plotted so that we don't get
Yeah,
derailed like has happened
Yeah,
in the past.
definitely.
that's exactly what I was gonna say, Darcy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
because I know that Cindy, you said you attempted one at one point, or was
Oh,
it
I gotta
Cindy or was it
find
Darcy?
it. Yes.
Yeah, but maybe that's what we do in that first meeting, or I don't know if we want to try to do it now, we can, or if we want to,
No, but I just want to try to find.
yeah. And we should probably leave tonight with a sense of the meeting schedule.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Especially with vacations and.
Yeah.
Yep.
how does starting back up the end of July and into August with like a kind of like a 2 week buffer between the meetings? I know that there will be a little bit meeting heavy, but it sounds like we could have like 3 meetings across July and then end of July and into August. Because it sounds like we'll want to take our time and want to digest, and also I think taking this bit by bit might be a little easier as I try my best to actually pull up the application and go through it and realizing that yes, we have too many things in here, and that's okay. And I appreciate the feedback, and I think at the end of the day, you know which of these do you spend significant time doing? The list of sort of like the attributes we were listing here solves so many of our questions, and I think in essence, right, how does that align with our goal overall in this? And also, I'm looking at it now, it pops up on the same page as like student activities, so it's not elegant either. So I think there's redesign to be done. So no, I'm grateful, but again, just to back to the point, I think end of July and into August could really work for my schedule pretty well, but
Yep.
feel free to feedback as well.
I'm going to be out of town in August, and I'm just pulling up the timeline. So it looks like the scholarship website live for this year was live in February. And we were trying to mirror what the Somerville High School Scholarship Fund does. And I have a note that the first week of January is when they have their website live, an application live. So high level targeting that, I guess, if we still want to be similar to the Somerville High School Scholarship Fund timeline. So if we work backwards, let's say first week of January, if we met in September, is that too late, do people think? I'm gone the second week of August. So I am back the third week of August.
I'm gone
think
the
I'm
first week. I think, oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, I'm free. I'm free
Oh,
those
Matt,
dates.
okay.
Yep.
I wonder, because I'm also away that first week of August, and then I do wonder if it's better to start in September, only because I worry that we would plan summer meetings and then things like people's vacations would come up and then we wouldn't,
Yeah.
we'd wind up But and I almost wonder, I'm good with sort of having a heavier beginning of the year. Like maybe we meet, maybe it's twice in September and twice in October or something to make sure that we're on track, and then we can slow down. Maybe we don't need to meet in December because it's so crazy, or thinking
Mhm.
about it that way.
Yep.
But I do worry about the summer meetings only because I feel like we're gonna run into sort of what we have run into before, where it's like, oh, people can't come at the last minute, we reschedule, or vacations.
Yeah,
Yep.
September sounds good.
I
Yeah,
think a little recess
good.
is fine. So September, are we hoping to keep the Thursday nights?
I like the cadence of it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
still works for me.
Okay, so there's September 4th, but that's kind of the first almost full week of school, so that's a little, I don't know, nutty for my kids.
And Labor Day, yeah.
Yeah, so then there's the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. So normally if we did the third Thursday, we'd meet the 18th, but if we want to try and meet twice, do we want to try the 11th and the 25th?
Of September, I think I can make that work.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, yeah.
The only
Uh,
caveat I put right now is that I don't know my class schedule yet. So I'll have to like if
Okay.
something comes up as far as like Thursday classes or something in
Yeah.
the evening, I'll let you guys know. Because
I
fun fact about law school, you don't get to choose that.
Yep.
Yeah. I am gonna have a hard time committing right now only because all of our events are being scheduled in the next like week or two in terms of like when the college night is, when back to school night is and everything for school. So I'll just be, I'm happy to be the like lucky fifth person if I can come, and if it works for everyone else, that's fine. I can commit, I can have a more firm commitment in about a week if but I know we're meeting now. So do what works for you all, and then I can sort of, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that sounds fine. I mean, it's far enough away that we can pencil it in, and then Matt, once you kind of get your schedule, and
Mhm.
Melanie, once
Mhm.
dates are confirmed for events, then we can adjust there. Um, yeah,
And I think when Thursdays haven't worked, Tuesdays were good for people. I felt like our meetings were Thursday, Tuesday, so we can just
yeah, we
swap
might be able to
both
just
weeks. Yeah,
shift a day or two,
yeah.
if that day doesn't work. So,
Yeah, next school year, Tuesdays actually might be better for me. So maybe we could even like alternate or something.
okay. I mean, do you want to just try for the 9th and the 23rd for now,
The Tuesdays. Mhm.
Tuesdays? Especially if we're meeting virtually, we don't have to worry about room availability or anything.
I think for the first meeting, maybe meeting in person might be better because we can
Okay.
talk through the goals, right? At least
Yeah.
get that set.
And also maybe look at the application together, because
Yeah, and just
like
real time.
kind of seeing what the student experience is going through it one time, and then we can see the kind of, oh, this is the same question, or this is, doesn't need to be here. Okay. I don't know if it makes any difference for the library, like this far out, we might be able to book it regardless of the evening. I know they do D&D in there some nights, but
It looks like Linda has an in with the library, Darcy. So I think we can.
okay.
I can, if we're talking about the 11th, I do think I should be pretty clear of events on that night. So
But Melanie,
She's not, oh, I'm
Tuesday?
sorry.
Oh.
She's never said no.
Okay.
I knew you had an in, Linda. But Melanie, do Tuesdays work better for you
like
in general?
personally they do because
Mhm.
my like family schedule wise, but and yeah, a lot of our events happen to be on Thursdays. So probably, I don't know. I feel bad, like I just don't I don't know right now, so it's a little hard. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I think my kids will have back to school night as well, and that's usually on a Thursday. I just don't know yet what
Right,
day they'll
right.
be. Right. So like I think let's just try Tuesdays if that works
Yeah.
for people. And then if we need to adjust, we can.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be 9/9 and 9/23 tentatively. And so the 9/9 we'd want to be in person at the library if possible.
Mm-hmm. And 9/23 virtual.
Sure. Okay. And 7 PM for both of those, or do you want to do earlier if it's in person? Does it matter on Tuesdays, Melanie?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. That was the hardest time.
No
Um,
problem. I just know virtual, you said 7 was better. I didn't know if in person, if it makes a difference for the
Yeah,
timing.
you're so thoughtful to remember that. Thank you. Yes, doesn't matter. In person, doesn't matter, 6 or 7.
Okay. Does anyone else have a preference, earlier or later?
Nope.
No,
7's good.
sounds good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, 7's fine for me. So
Oh, 6 to 7. I think that's what. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Melanie, that was your preference.
I-
Maybe I misheard.
I prefer 6 if possible, because I'm out at 4:30, so I'd be going home and then, or staying here for hours to,
yeah.
if not, then 7 is fine, but if
Okay.
you're asking
that
for
just-
preference, then my preference is 6, and my
Okay.
preference is Thursday, because I'm already here, so.
Right. Linda, does that go for the virtual meetings as well, or does that matter?
Well,
Is it
it-
just in person or just in
You
general?
know,
you
so
prefer
just
6?
in general.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
virtual, I
Um,
mean, I take the computer home,
Yeah. Okay.
but still, earlier the better, and then people have their nights.
Yeah. Okay. So do we want to do 6 PM in person at the library on 9/9? Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And then do we want to try and plot out any more or just wait till people's schedules shake out?
I'm waiting. I'm in the wait and see camp.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 dates, September.
Okay.
I feel like that's good.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. And then Linda, I will make an agenda for that September meeting and I'll just confirm and send you the info about both of those meetings. So,
Okay,
Along
and then
with
I will
the-
schedule them.
Okay.
I'll ask for the library, and then I'll do the online thing sooner rather than later.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Not for me.
All good?
Okay. Well, have a good summer, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Have a great
And
summer.
I should just take like 10 seconds to shout out Eric for staying through a very long scholarship ceremony. It was very nice that you came. So I appreciate you. It was the very last award, and I very much appreciate you coming to that. So, but yeah, have a wonderful summer, everyone.
And Eric, if you could
Thank you,
share the
Melanie.
picture, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd love
I think
to.
I was gonna,
That'd be
I was
fun.
gonna say, Melanie, I think you have it, right? I don't think I'd never.
Our
They never took my contact
photographer,
information.
our photographer took it, so they send it to us sometime in the summer. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Okay,
folks.
In September.
all right.
Bye.
Linda, you want to stop the recording?
Yeah, so how do I don't even know how to stop the recording. I figured,
Nope.
oh, I see it here.
Yep.
Stop recording, and
Mhm.
then I'll end the meeting. All right, thank you
Yep.
so much. Okay.
No
all right,
problem.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Should stop the recording.